In this video, I'm going to show you a problem and repair with the shutter mechanism on the Lomokino. When the frame advances, this lever is supposed to release, or is supposed to flip a switch inside this hole. It does flip the switch, however, for some reason, the mechanism isn't strong enough to actually operate the shutter. So to get to the lens and the shutter, there are 3 screws on each side. Just remove those. I've already removed, point out where they are again. There's one here, here, and here on both sides. And then this just pulls out. So this is what the lens and shutter mechanism looks like. To give you an example of what's going on, right here, this mechanism is supposed to go past this plate, but it doesn't. For some reason, this plate apparently slides in and allows this to pass, but this is holding it back. Begin by removing the lens, which appears to be these 3 screws. Just making sure that these screws are the same size. I haven't done this before. I'm going to hold the lens down in case there are springs in there that want to go flying across the room that I will never find again. Alright, all 3 screws are removed. I'm going to lift up the lens mechanism. Here's the shutter. Let's watch it in operation again. Oops. Alright, after you get the lens assembly removed, do not adjust the mechanism because I came very close to losing this tiny spring. I would really suggest not doing this repair in a carpeted room. Do it in a tile or something that you can actually find small parts in. So I'm going to need to put this back, but I'll need to disassemble the rest of the shutter here. I have a theory of what's going on. There's a lot of flat surfaces here, and I think it just needs some lubrication. I use this is an old can of DuPont Performance Pure Silicone Lubricant. It works on plastics, so I'm going to give it a shot. There might be something more specific that we actually should be using, but I'm cheap. These are very thin pieces. Looks like this might be, yeah, that's, this is apparently plastic, a plastic weld point, so this is not coming off. So we'll just move it off to the side. This plate just comes right out. And here's the shutter mechanism. As you can see, it's fairly large. I'm going to just completely remove it. this is some of my silicone or if this is something that was added beforehand. Well, looking at this, I can see that it's scratched here. So that means that it's there's a lot of friction being built up here. Plus, with all the crazy weather we've been having locally, there could be a static charge that's forcing this metal piece to actually stick to the plastic. So I'm going to spray some silicone lubricant on a cotton swab and very carefully apply it to this area. And I don't really want to get anything on that lens. Otherwise, the image will be even softer. You just sort of see the silicone lubricant evaporating almost instantly. I'm going to apply a little bit to the actual shutter as well. Just a very thin coat. I want this to dry quickly. Now for reassembling the shutter. Begin with the actual shutter blade. Just place it in there. The important thing to notice is this block up here. This actually is what stops the shutter, so it'll need to be below that. Anywhere is generally fine for now. And then placing the spring. Mine's getting a little bent up, but it still operates properly. The hook goes into the hole, and the spring itself goes onto that post like that. All right. Yeah, pretty much just put it on anywhere. If you have the proper tool, this spur of the spring is actually supposed to go around this post. But if I do that without the proper tool, it just comes apart and wastes a lot of time. So what I'm going to do is actually put the shutter completely together and then move that piece of wire where it needs to go. Then place the shutter, I guess this is a mask, in place. This helps hold the spring in place as well. There's no screws yet, but then you place the iris back in place. That does have a screw, so put that in. And again, don't tighten any of these screws very tight because you don't want to strip out the plastic. Now place the shutter, or the lens in place. One thing is to check to make sure that the lens is actually clean. Mine's pretty dirty already. It's easier if you hold it up to a light and check for just little spots. The mask on the lens itself actually does come off. So just pull that off to get to the lens element. I would assume the lens element is actually glued in place. Okay, with the mask back on the lens, the mask back on the lens, you just place the lens back in place. And reinsert the 3 screws. Okay, now take either some tweezers or needle nose pliers and move that metal spur back around that post. Okay, then just move the little piece of wire back around that post with some needle nose and give the shutter a quick test. It might be slightly jammed up in the spring, which is what happened to me, but as you see, it's working properly now. So that's all there is to it, to repairing the shutter on the Lomokino and probably many other cameras that use a similar shutter mechanism. Then it's just a matter of reinserting the mechanism to the cover and replacing those 6 screws. And with the camera all assembled, just test the camera to make sure that the shutter actually is functioning. It is easier if you have some hard lights above you that you can shine into the lens so you can see the reflections, and then operate the shutter. You'll see the reflection shift down into the lower condenser lens as well. So like I have soft light here, so it's hard to tell that it's actually operating, but when I went into another room and with hard lights, I could see that it is opening. So that's it. Shutter is fixed and the camera is ready to go. I hope this tutorial helps you with keeping your camera operational.